initially this article seemed very strange, or the title to the article seemed very strange. But then I gave it some more thought, and then it dawned on me. This actually makes sense. I remember a rumor coming out maybe about 2 or 3 months ago where it was stated that Marvel's intended goal with Doomsday is to wipe out everything that happened after Endgame. We know and we understand some of the movies, not all of them, but some of the movies that came out after Endgame and some of the shows didn't really sit too well with fans. And since you already have a multiverse and time travel, you can easily do away with that. You can start over new and fresh. This is the benefit of multiverses and time travel, although it does come with its cons as well. Anyway, let's get into this article right here from comicbookmovie.com. Avengers Endgame re-release rumored to include new post-credit scenes to set up Avengers Doomsday. And again, as I said in my opening, I would imagine that that setup for Avengers Doomsday also primes the audience for pretty much eliminating everything that happened after Endgame. And obviously with Loki pretty much being god of time right now in the Marvel universe, holding everything together, you can kind of see how your mind's eye can see exactly how this would play out, or not exactly, generally, let's say that, generally how this would play out and how they could undo all of these other Marvel shows. Anyway, let's get to this article. Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame will return to the big screen on September 23rd, and we recently learned that the re-release will include new footage to tie the Infinity Saga finale directly into Avengers Doomsday. While speaking at the Sands Film Festival in St. Andrews, Scotland, co-director of both movies, Joe Russo, described the re-release as a critical companion story and a setup for what you're going to watch in December when you see Avengers Doomsday. So the way they're setting this up, they're priming the audience to spend more money. Now, I'll tell you why this is genius on Marvel's part. Some people will say, well, this is a money grab, to which I will say it absolutely is. The money spent on this movie is already spent. Avengers Endgame has already made its money. It's a beloved movie. It's not without its flaws, but amongst the fans, it was an apropos crescendo to the Infinity Gauntlet saga that we saw play out for, from the first Iron Man to Endgame. So I don't think many people will have a problem spending their money going to the theater and watching this again, because the movie, it really was that good. Again, not without flaws, but it was genuinely a very good movie. Smart strategy. You'll make a bunch of money off of Endgame, and if Doomsday doesn't do as well, you pad yourself financially ahead of time, getting ahead of that, which allows you to continue making movies and continuing this story from Doomsday. Because, as I've always said, Marvel has lost some fan capital. There's some fans that will never return. There are fans like me that I'm like, they had some movies that were misses, but it's not going to make me just disregard Marvel altogether. Just like Marvel Comics, there's a lot of Marvel Comics I don't particularly care for, but I'm not just going to write Marvel off. I still read Marvel Comics. When I find a Marvel comic that's good, I'll read it. If I pick up a Marvel comic and it doesn't interest me, I won't continue reading it. It's really, for me, it's really that simple. It doesn't really go deeper than that. It's critically important to re-release the movie, and in fact, we'll be re-releasing the film with footage that is set in the Doomsday story that we have added to Avengers Endgame. It is an opportunity to create a bridge from Endgame to Doomsday in a very unique way. And because the movie was so successful, we have an opportunity to re-release it, he added. And to me, that just kind of points to what I said. They understand, because and due to the success of this movie, it is a very good probability that people return to watch this thing again. I would have no problem spending my money going to a theater and watching this movie again. You don't always get the chance to re-release because it costs money. So the fact that we can enhance the story of Doomsday by bridging it to Endgame and these characters that we worked with for years that we love so much and continue the story, it's really a unique opportunity. And I don't know what the cost is in re-releasing this into the theater, but I would imagine that Disney comes out on top. Marvel Disney comes out on top in this regard. I don't think they would, well, I can't say they wouldn't do it if they weren't going to make money, but I really do think this is a calculated strategy, and I honestly think they believe they will get a big turnout. And I tend to believe that myself. Now, Scooper, My Time to Shine Hello, is claiming that Endgame's re-release will add a new post-credit scene. Endgame didn't have any post-credit scenes before to tease Doomsday, and this makes sense. This makes sense if Avengers Doomsday is picking up right after Endgame and you're going to undo everything that came after. It only makes sense to re-release this movie, tie it in with an end credit scene. This wasn't entirely unexpected, as it makes more sense for Marvel to shoot a new stinger as opposed to inserting additional footage into the main film itself, which I agree. What this new post-credit scene will entail remains to be seen, but it is definitely starting to seem like Doomsday will serve more as a direct follow-up to the events of Endgame than the first part of a multiverse saga finale, which is exactly what was stated, like I said, months ago. Only makes sense. Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars will hit with significant delays last year, with Doomsday now set to arrive in theaters December 18, 2026, and Secret Wars positioned for December 17, 2027. I have a feeling these movies are probably going to be more of what Marvel fans expect from an MCU movie. I'm not going to say how well they're going to do or not going to do. That it's hard to say because you don't know which fans are going to return, which fans said they gave up on Marvel and it was just words, and which ones really meant it. You really don't know. Both movies will be directed by the Russo brothers, who will make their MCU return after helming Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil Wars, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. Being able to create stories and explore characters within the Marvel Universe fulfilled a lifelong dream of ours, and we discovered a powerful connection with the audience in each film that we made. We're thrilled to collaborate once again with Kevin Liu and the entire Marvel team to bring this epic adventure and storytelling to new and surprising places for both fans and ourselves, said the Russos on a statement after the SDCC panel. Yeah, so I think this is more than just one of those rumors. I think I think it's really highly possible and likely that Doomsday really does wipe out everything that comes after Endgame. At least for me, that's what everything is pointing to.